Hi my rainbows, it's me Savvy. In today's video we're doing another basic information before leaving Earth Bible study. I did it outside because my kids are still sleeping and I didn't want to wake them up. But obviously, disclaimer as always, if you don't like these kind of videos, just scroll. And I'm not here to change anybody's mind or religion. I'm just here to talk about what I think is cool in the chapters, or like how I feel about the chapters. You can listen. I know a lot of the stuff is controversial, but like I say all the time, if I can just reach one person or have a discussion with one person, I will be grateful for it. So with that being said, I don't remember when as a kid. I have a lot to say about this one, by the way. Just the same. This one's probably going to be a longer video than most of them, but as a kid, I don't remember this chapter at all. So I don't know why they don't preach this one more. Maybe because it's in the Old Testament, but a lot of the things in it, I was like, wow, that's crazy. Kind of made sense. Like I said, I wrote a lot down for this one. So Proverbs is the 31st chapter of the book, or the Bible. So we're on number 20, story 20 out of 66. I made a new friend, which I thought was crazy because she has a Proverbs tattoo. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then today, when I was finishing it, I got this the verse of the day or whatever, and sometimes it matches the chapters and sometimes it doesn't, but today it matched the chapter, and I hung out with her last night, so I was like, this is God speaking to me. But one of the quotes was that I took from it, which was my verse of the day, was, one who has unreliable friends soon comes to ruin, but there is a friend that sticks closer than a brother. And it was 1824 NIV, and me and her have gotten close really fast. We have a lot in common. She also believes in God, so I was like, that's cool. So I'm really hoping, you guys know my track record with friends, but I'm hoping that she actually stays my friend for a really long time, because I was like, that's super cool. We have so much in common, and you believe in God, and it just makes me feel good that I have somebody that believes in God that's around me now, because I really don't know very many people that do in my town, unfortunately. But anyway, Proverbs is a book that was made for knowledge and wisdom. Oh, I'm messing up my notebook, but it says memorable sayings passed down from the wisest of elders. Many are from Solomon, who designed to help younger people find prosperity, health, security, growth, and knowledge. There's 375 proverbs by Solomon. And you find out in Kings that he writes a lot of the Proverbs, reflecting the numerical value of his name in Hebrew, which I thought was crazy. 375, I guess his name in Hebrew makes his value. 130 from Hezekiah. Sorry, I can't read it. What I wrote. 130 is the value of his name in Hebrew, which is really crazy that they their names in Hebrew. There's things about the ideal wife. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. The word means that short, clever sayings that offer wisdom. And you find those out in chapters 10 through 29. 1 through 9 tells you about Solomon. And then 30 through 31 is the ending of it. Sorry, I'm trying to speed it up. Like I said, I wrote a lot down. Yeah, so flipping over to the next thing. I put practical skills to live your life and the fear of God. Humble yourself of right and wrong. So you don't make the rules, obviously, of right and wrong. God already set out the rules of right and wrong for you. So don't just well, I think this is right or I think this is wrong. I mean, most people know the difference between right and wrong anyway at a young age, but they just don't make up your own set of rules, because it's a whole set of right and wrong rules. Wisdom is not the same as law, so it's not the same as the Ten Commandments, but it is to show honor to God and other people by abiding by the rules. Lady God, or Lady God, I can't talk. Lady Wisdom, God's own advice to learn about wisdom and break the cycle of the past generations, reference point to go back to. So you can always go back to the Proverbs and read them over and over and over, depending on what's going on in your life. So that's like a reference point. They're not formulas for success, but they're formulas to live a longer, better life on this earth. But there's no guarantees, obviously, that you're still going to go to heaven if you abide by these. There's like 2 exceptions to the rule. The book of Job, obviously, because he, was deceived by Satan, and then his life was going really bad, really bad, really bad, and then he still went to heaven because God was like, okay, it's because Satan told me to see if you'd like betray me, pretty much, which we've already talked about the book of Job. And then the book of Elastes, which I haven't gotten to yet, and it just kind of put them all together. It just means life's too complicated for simple formulas. And then 30 and 31, the ending chapters, there's 2 like authors or narrators. Agur, which is, he had a great needs for God's wisdom, always open to hear God's wisdom through the scriptures. And 31, this is the last chapter, is by Lemuel, I guess is how you say it, passes on the wisdom that he heard from his mother. So the beginning is from a father to son, and the ending is from a mother to her son. But anybody can read it, and anybody can take like notes from it. Like, even if I didn't have kids, I could read it and still take a lot of the good advice. And then a couple of the things, or the quotes that I had, that I saw in it that stuck out to me was, trust the Lord with all your heart. Obviously, we know that's one of the key things of being a Christian, right? You have to just trust in him and believe in him no matter what, in order to go to heaven. That's like the very first thing you gotta do. Like, don't question it. Like, just know he exists, like, know in your heart he exists, and he knows your heart, so he knows if you're faking it or not. And I've told you in previous ones, like, we know that sometimes that I can question it, and I question it, and then I'm like, ask for forgiveness, like, I'm sorry I questioned that, I shouldn't have questioned it, So I mean, I have my own like conflict with it, and it's hard sometimes to not do it. Another quote which I thought was crazy was, so they talk about Lady Wisdom, right? So it says, she's the tree of life to those who take hold of her, which I thought was cool, that wisdom's a lady. And it says there she's a tree of life because when you have a baby and you have your this might be gross, but your placenta, it comes out, and the design of the placenta is like, looks like the tree of life. So it's like, that's kind of cool. So being a mom, I guess, like, can mean you're a little bit wise because you're a mom, So I was like, that's kind of, at least that resonated with me. Not saying if you're not a mom, you're not wise, but I think it makes you kind of a little more wise, because you have to, raise another human being. Lazy hands make for poverty, and diligent hands bring wealth. So obviously, if you don't work hard, you're not going to get very much. And then whoever spares the rod hates their children, but the one who loves their children is careful to discipline them. So I thought that was kind of like, this is what my take, obviously, on it was, obviously, don't beat your kids, right? Because that's not good, but you should still have a nice balance of trying to teach them right from wrong by disciplining them. But don't, like I said, don't beat your kids, obviously, but they're meant to be disciplined when they do wrong. So it says that straight up in the Bible. So I was like, that's crazy. But yeah, so this ended up being my second favorite story in the Bible. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry it was long. There was just like a lot of information that I was like, wow. There probably was more, but those are like the simple ones that I took care about. So that would be like my suggestion for anybody that like reads the Bible. I would tell them to start with that one and see what they get from it, because it, like I said, it's key components to live a longer and happier life, regardless of going to heaven or not. It's good advice, basically, and a good way to live your life. So yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next week. Bye.